Well, here's another video of things I've learned along the way, part 2. There is a difference between someone who likes to lead or live a private life versus someone who is secretive. Private people want to keep their business to themselves that you don't need to know. You don't need to know where they live, where they work, or how much they make unless you guys are in a relationship, and I'm talking headed towards marriage or a marriage itself. Private people tend to show up and do instead of tell you what they're going to do, unless they are trying to build momentum and getting you to check it out. Private people don't like having small talk conversations with people, but they know that they have to have them so people don't think that they're rude or just not sociable people. A lot of private people are introverted people, so the conversations that they have is between them and spirit. They need not talk to you and yours, especially about their business. A secretive person is someone that typically does things behind closed doors that they don't want you to know about. A secretive person purposely withholds information or tells you lies to lead you off the trail and track of what they're really aiming to do, which is 9 times out of 10 manipulate you or situation to get their way. A secretive person wants to know all of your business and other people's business so they can calculate their moves on how they're going to be able to execute said plan. A secretive person is also someone who usually talks about you behind your back and smiles in your face. Anything you do outside of a job is still work. That's why a lot of people don't have the energy for their dreams after putting in a 60-hour work week. They barely want to take a shower, but they do want to hit that bed. It's nice to have things, even toys that you can afford. Just make sure you can afford them. And every time you get a source of income, however you get a source of income, it's better to not be a consumer and better to be an investor. Make the money grow and work for you instead of you always working for it. The older you get, you'll understand that concept because that back be backing and them knees be kneeing. And at mid 40s, 50s, 60s, and definitely 70 years old, the last thing you want to do is have a job where you're standing up all day. Unless you're healthy and that's just something you want to do. Taxes are highway robbery. Why should I work a 60-hour week and give you 40% of what I earned? Finding ways to write off money is the way to go. If you can prove what you use for business purposes, you can write it off. It is definitely not recommended to spin the block, but the only way that I learned that is by spinning the block. And by learning where I went wrong in doing that, and by unlearning how not to do that, not only can I make better decisions for myself, but I can help others understand what it's like to do certain things like that. And hopefully help someone to get out of a situation they don't need to be in, heal from something they need to heal from, and move on in a positive direction. Because that's what I'm doing for myself. One of a narcissist's biggest pet peeves is being embarrassed and not feeling that they're in charge, no matter how they get it. And they don't care how they get it. A lot of times their friends and family may know they're lying because they're liars too. People know when they're wrong, whether they admit it or not. It's just if they care enough to correct what they did. If they tell you a lie and you don't catch it, at least not then and there, or maybe never, they think that they have outsmarted you. When truthfully, they just really fooled themselves into thinking that karma is not real. Oh, but it is. An employee that has been with the company longer than you but has not moved up in position, whether because they sat back and thought it was just going to be handed to them in their lap, but they never applied for it, and or they just never wanted to, does not like the new boss and typically gives them a hard time, especially when that new boss comes in and has to change things according to what the corporation wants in order to keep their position. And one of their favorite things to do besides running their mouth about you is to call out, so to keep you stuck. You would think a parent shouldn't do this, but a lot of them pick and choose who their favorite child or children are going to be based upon how they get along with them. Some zodiac signs just don't mesh well, and that needs to be understood. And it also depends on who they can control. Also, the one who is the most successful or appears to be tends to be the topic of conversation, and it can leave the family pitting against each other for no reason other than that mindset and that energy that they're putting in the atmosphere. I mean, we all do know the story of Cain and Abel, right? Well, consider that to be an outcome if you do too much of that. People tend to believe what they want to believe, not necessarily what's true. I mean, they found every reason in the world to talk about Beyonce's hair and how it wasn't real when you know it's luxurious, bitch. I'm just saying, either support her line of product or don't. Because the bottom line is, I don't know her personal life, neither do I need to know. That's her business, long as it doesn't affect me. But some of y'all, it wouldn't matter what she put on her head, okay? It could be a squirrel's tail, and people gonna love it or they don't. So if you have that kind of energy around you in your household or at work or at school, imagine somebody who's actually a superstar and a billionaire at that, who's been successful for more than 2 decades, and you got people that like it, you got people that love it, you got people that don't care, and you got people that hate it. Imagine all that energy coming towards you, having to transmute that and still being worth $1 billion. I'm just saying. And then the people doing all that ain't even buying tickets to the concert. So what do you care for? Oh, because it ain't you. That's why to have any kind of success in this world, or what is perceived as success to you and or others, you have to have tough skin. Because people hate you because they ain't you. And that's just the bottom line. The older I get, the less I eat out. You can't eat in everybody's kitchen. Social media can be an addiction. So if you're on here, you might as well content create. Because a lot of people's friends are their phone. If you have the money to pay bills 2-3 months in advance, do it. You never know what your circumstance and situation is going to be, and you always want to give yourself a safety net. Just remember, anything can happen to anyone. You're not an exception to the rule. Not appreciating something or taking something for granted will lead to loss in that. It can come quick, it can come later, but it's a coming. And mind you, I said appreciation, gratitude, not putting your trust in it. Jobs don't have loyalty. Use it for what it's there for, just like it uses you. Because people doing things to themselves or other people over material things is absolutely unnecessary. Trust me, if it's meant to have, you can get it again, and typically better than it was before. You don't always have to work hard for everything you get. Just remember to stay aligned with what it is you're seeking. There's power in manifestation, so make sure that alignment is where you actually want to be and what you want to receive. Well, it's your girl. Stay tuned for more. And as always, thank you to my new subscribers and followers. And remember to check me out on YouTube.